And yet, here we are in the dazzling future of 2025, and a staggering percentage of the global population still genuinely believes that if they pray hard enough, an invisible cosmic wizard will personally intervene to help them find their car keys, cure their mild headache, or assign them a convenient parking spot at the grocery store. So, what is really going on? This isn't just about harmless, archaic beliefs anymore. This is about a fundamental cultural addiction to feelings over facts, a deep seated preference for emotional comfort over intellectual rigor. Science provides verifiable, testable, reproducible truth. Religion, particularly major structures like Christianity, offers absolute certainty, even when that certainty has the empirical resilience of wet tissue paper. Today, we're diving deep, and yes, hilariously, into the scientific, sociological, and psychological scaffolding that allows religion not just to survive, but to thrive. In a world where we can literally measure the edge of the observable universe, we need to expose religion for what it truly is: humanity's most powerful, emotionally manipulative, and spectacularly successful social engineering project. The truth matters more than a belief based on just a feeling, and atheism, at its core, is the unflinching search for that truth. So let's start with the hard wiring, because we can't fully blame the ancient texts. We have to blame our spectacularly flawed, yet evolutionary advantageous brains. Atheism seeks truth, but the human brain fundamentally seeks patterns and intention. Neuroscientists call this phenomenon hyperactive agency detection, otherwise known as HAD, spelled H-A-D. The deep-seated tendency to assume intention, purpose, or a conscious actor even when there isn't one. Think about our ancestors, the cave dwellers who heard a rustle in the grass, the one who shrugged it off as just the wind. Probably nothing. Got eaten. The one who leaped behind a rock, assuming a predator. Oh, crap, gotta be a saber-tooth. Survived to reproduce. Natural selection hardwired us to be paranoid pattern junkies. We are built to connect dots, even when the dots are miles apart and drawn by a lunatic. Plug that ancient HAD circuit into modern life, and suddenly that rustling in the grass becomes a sign. A failed business venture is God testing me, and that convenient parking spot is a blessing. Our brains crave a cause, a narrative, a satisfying why behind everything. Science is incredible at explaining how the universe works, the mechanics, the processes, the elegant, unbiased indifference of physics. But it doesn't inherently provide that easy, immediate answer to why we're here, or what our cosmic purpose is. And this is where religion pulls off the ultimate parlor trick. Science says, here are the laws of thermodynamics. Religion swoops in and whispers, don't worry about the laws. A powerful man in the sky loves you and planned this whole thing. And you are special. It's the cognitive equivalent of replacing a complex calculus problem with a brightly colored sticker that says magic. And our tired, pattern-craving brains sigh in relief and say, "Finally, an explanation that doesn't require homework." The agency detection flaw gets infinitely worse when we face reality's biggest spoiler: mortality salience. We are the only creature on this planet aware that we will eventually die. This uniquely human existential dread is unsettling, destructive, and deeply uncomfortable. In the face of that terror, belief in a cosmic purpose shifts from a philosophical luxury to a psychological life vest. Faith whispers that death isn't a full stop, that there's an endless VIP lounge waiting for you, provided you followed the ancient, often contradictory rules of a Bronze Age text. This promise alone activates reward centers in the brain, visible on fMRI scans. We are literally addicted to the feeling of not being dead forever. The atheist commitment to truth means facing the uncomfortable reality of non-existence. The religious commitment to comfort means embracing the beautiful lie. And for most people, the immediate relief from existential angst will always beat the verifiable fact that the universe doesn't care about your feelings. If you think people rationally choose their religion like they choose a favorite coffee flavor, you haven't been paying attention to human development. Most beliefs aren't chosen. They are installed, often before your first adult tooth even wiggles. Psychologists understand that children develop the idea that their parents are pretty much infallible around age 4. Guess what crucial development window this coincides with? It's the very window when parents, grandparents, and the local religious structure introduce the foundational stories, values, and practices of the faith. Anthropologists point to credibility-enhancing displays, otherwise known as CREDs. Think about it. Parents praying earnestly, uncles fasting with conviction, aunts performing rituals with profound seriousness. These aren't just stories. They are lived experiences that make the narratives feel self-evident, deeply true, and fundamentally safe. This is cultural imprinting on a neural level. By the time critical thinking classes, if they even exist, show up in school, these foundational beliefs are not just facts you memorized. They are deeply entwined with your identity, your family history, and your sense of belonging. Rejection of that belief system can literally feel like self-amputation, a tearing away of who you are and where you come from. It's why ex-Christians and deconstructors often speak of the immense emotional and social pain of leaving. The religious structure weaponizes identity against rationality. If your identity is predicated on being a child of God and accepting the narrative of the fall and the resurrection, then accepting the scientific fact that biological evolution is a thing and Jesus likely didn't walk on water requires you to dismantle yourself. And frankly, confronting that level of cognitive dissonance for the sake of intellectual honesty is agonizing. It's far easier and requires exponentially less mental energy to compartmentalize, as the mind is shockingly good at doing, and stick with the herd. Let's cut the piety and talk brass tacks. Religion is, hands down, humanity's oldest, most effective, and most successful meetup group. It's an ingenious bundle of childcare, networking, emotional therapy, and welfare, all wrapped up in a tax-exempt package with great potluck dinners. A 2023 meta-analysis confirmed that religious people report higher life satisfaction. But why? Mostly because of the robust social support they receive, not necessarily the specific theology of whether the wine is literally blood or just bad Merlot. When you lose your faith, you don't just lose a belief. You often lose your book club, your entire social circle, your immediate babysitting network, and your first call in an emergency. It's a massive, immediate social cost. Losing your faith means you have to make a painful and awkward Facebook announcement that ends up costing you 90% of your immediate contacts. Losing your faith means you have to find your own chiropractor and pay for your own therapy. The church, temple, or mosque provides that comprehensive safety net that modern secular organizations consistently struggle to replicate. Furthermore, religion employs clever behavioral economics. Look at practices like tithing, giving 10% of your income, mandatory fasting, or costly pilgrimages. Behavioral economists call these credibility signals. If you're willing to pay a high cost, money, time, discomfort, to belong to the group, you signal your genuine commitment. This drives away the free riders and makes the remaining group incredibly tight, trustworthy, and exclusive. The more expensive the sign-up fee, the more valuable the membership feels. Science, for all its wonders, does not offer 15 instant friends and a free casserole when you get sick. It offers peer review, rigorous testing, and the inevitable fact that your immune system is failing. Which offering is emotionally superior? For most people, the casserole wins every time. Wait a minute, you might be thinking. Hasn't science pretty much disproven talking snakes and immaculate conceptions? Well, yes, but that rarely matters. The popular narrative often paints science and religion as locked in an internal, irreconcilable battle, the so-called conflict thesis. But this is too simplistic. Science excels at measurable, empirical claims about the material world. Religion, on the other hand, mostly traffics in meaning, purpose, and existential comfort for the non-material world, which conveniently cannot be measured. Science can certainly weaken literal interpretations of Scripture. You know, like the idea that the Earth is 6,000 years old and giraffes were stored on a giant boat. But it rarely, if ever, replaces the profound social, psychological, and existential jobs that religion performs. Science gives us incredible knowledge about the how, but it doesn't inherently replace the ultimate sense of belonging, the immediate emotional payoff, or the deep comfort in the face of the unknown that faith offers. They are different, competing ways of knowing, and when the facts conflict with the feelings, guess which one the human brain discards? The facts. So here's where it all gets spicy and robust. Each of these reasons we've discussed doesn't stand alone. They constantly reinforce each other in a powerful, self-sustaining feedback loop. Your brain is primed for agency, craving a meaningful why. Your family scripts, otherwise cultural imprinting, supply the specific comforting deity. Your community, known as social cohesion, rewards you fiercely for performing that devotion publicly. This is a beautifully engineered system. Question one pillar, say the factual basis, and you still have two strong ones, identity and community, holding the structure firmly in place. That's why counter-evidence so often bounces off belief systems like bullets on Superman. Psychologists call this powerful belief reinforcement loop system justification. It's incredibly economical for the human mind, sticking with the herd, maintaining cognitive harmony, and reducing dissonance saves immense mental energy. Even among high IQ Silicon Valley engineers earning six figures and designing launch trajectories for satellites, you will still find astrology apps or crystals on the same desk. The human mind is adept at compartmentalizing. Contradiction doesn't feel uncomfortable when the payoff is belonging, purpose, and a sense of existential security. If religion were purely about universal psychological needs, we would expect religiosity to be constant. But it's not. Let's look at the United States, where I live, a dramatic outlier in the development world. In many parts of Europe, secularization skyrocketed after the devastation of two world wars. That carnage eroded trust in institutional authority, both religious and governmental. Crucially, burgeoning welfare states also began to replace the social safety net that churches had traditionally provided. If the state promises unemployment benefits, health care, and elder care, the need to rely on the church's charity dramatically diminishes. Meanwhile, in the United States, it kept a vibrant, highly competitive free religion market. Denominations multiplied, marketing budgets ballooned, and faith became deeply, almost inextricably, tied to national identity and political morality. The result is striking. Compare 64% weekly church attendance in some parts of the U.S. versus a mere 11% in Sweden. This powerful sociological distinction proves that religion's persistence isn't solely about theological truth. It's a powerful demonstration of how local culture, economics, and politics can flip the switch from religion being an optional myth to a core societal value. Religion survives in 2025 because our environment allows it to, and in fact, structurally rewards it. Now, I know exactly what's coming in the comments below. The usual crew of projecting, gaslighting, pity the atheists, fundamentalist Christians will show up attempting to derail the conversation. They won't engage with the neurobiology or the sociological data. They will use straw men, attempt to criticize my tone, or tell me I feel empty inside, all in desperate attempt to distract from the real issue. Religion, especially evangelical Christianity, survives because it expertly exploits biological vulnerabilities and social needs, often at the profound expense of verifiable truth, scientific progress, bodily autonomy, and societal cohesion. We are not here to debate your personal feelings about your deity. We are here to expose the mechanics of why institutions built on emotional manipulation continue to damage people and society at large in an age of reason. Stay focused, skeptics. We deal in facts, not feelings. In the end, why does religion thrive in 2025? Because it offers immediate, profound answers to our deepest neurological and social needs. It explains the unknown. It promises immortality, and it guarantees belonging. Science demands rigor, skepticism, and the intellectual humility to say, I don't know. Religion demands surrender, emotional investment, and the prideful certainty to declare, I know everything I need to know, and the answer is love, provided you believe exactly what I believe. Our commitment as atheists, skeptics, ex-Christians, and deconstructors is not just to reject the God myth, but to understand its terrifying structural resilience. We must expose the mechanisms of control, the identity weaponization, the neurological exploitation, and the social manipulation if we ever hope to achieve a truly secular, reality-based future. Truth matters more than beliefs based on just a feeling. Based on everything we discussed, the neurology, the social cohesion, and the identity structure, I want to ask my community this. If you had to pick one structural reason that provides the strongest glue holding religious belief in place right now, such as hyperactive agency detection, existential comfort, cultural imprinting, meaning your identity, or social cohesion, which is your community. Say, which one is the single biggest impediment to secular progress, and why? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Engage with the science, engage with the sociology, and let's keep the conversation focused on verifiable reality. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you prioritize verifiable truth over comforting archaic fairy tales. Do you enjoy my podcast? If you would like to support this podcast, please consider making a monthly donation at the very low price of $3 a month by joining my Patreon and becoming a member. The link is in the description below, and thanks for watching.